A new father loses his wife mere hours after giving birth to their firstborn, a baby girl, and so now he must navigate life as not only a widower, but a first-time dad learning the ropes. Let's talk about fatherhood. 3, 2, 1. Hey guys, Dan here. This is Dan Reviews It. Welcome to my spoiler-free review for the new Netflix film Fatherhood. I gave you the premise up front, but what I didn't tell you is that the man in question is played by Kevin Hart. So yes, this is a more dramatic role than we've pretty much seen him in previously. However, he's sort of stepping out into that mode. One of his other recent films from, I think, 2019 is The Upside, with him and Bryan Cranston, and that certainly had, you know, some lighthearted moments, but was for the most part a dramatic film. And here we get the same thing. There are definitely some lighthearted moments here. Lil Rel Howery plays his best friend, so you can always expect some sort of more, you know, laugh-induced moments from those scenes, from anything with Lil Rel. But for the most part, this role requires some emotional output. It requires some more dramatic chops. So we'll see if Kevin Hart is up to the task. Before we get into the review, though, if you are new to Dan Reviews It, welcome, welcome. Thank you for finding my channel, and thank you for finding this review. Please do consider subscribing. We're getting close to 800 subscribers. That's my next milestone, so would love to have you on board in that capacity. But even just liking the video or commenting below, that all helps my channel as well, so spread the love that way too. So let's talk about this movie. This was originally scheduled for a theatrical release, but in the midst of COVID, Netflix bought the rights, and we're sort of holding on to it until Father's Day weekend. Makes a ton of sense. You know, it's about a single father learning how to navigate this new world of fatherhood while also grieving his wife. And so fits the bill there. And a really good cast here. Not just Kevin Hart. We mentioned Lil Rel as well. But Alfre Woodard and Frankie Faison play his wife's parents, his late wife's parents. So they add some, you know, gravitas to the mix. But we also have newcomer Melody Hurt as Maddie, who is the new daughter. And we see the first, like, maybe 20-25 minutes she's still a baby, and then we sort of advance the storyline and she's about 5, 6, 7, getting into sort of, you know, grade school and that sort of thing. And we see how Kevin Hart has been doing this whole time. His character is named, by the way, Matthew. So we see how Matthew's doing along the way. Now, this was directed by Paul Weitz, who has directed one of my 50 favorite movies of all time. I just recently did my top 50 movies and ranked them, and About a Boy made that list, and he directed that. He also directed American Pie, so a few things that you may know and like from this guy. He's got, you know, a little bit of a hit or miss kind of filmography. He's done some duds in his day as well, but here I think, you know, he sort of blends that comedy and drama as he did with About a Boy in this film Fatherhood as well. I don't think it's quite nearly as well done as that film, and I also am not sure that Kevin Hart is as good of a dramatic and comedic actor as Hugh Grant is. You know, Grant can kind of go back and forth between the two. Kevin Hart, I think, though, is working on it. I think he actually is pretty good in this movie. I think some of the best things about this movie are his interactions with his daughter, his interactions with his in-laws, and his interaction with his boss as well, played by Paul Reiser, who keeps popping up in random movies every so often. Did not know he was in this one either. But overall, you can't quite match this great talent with sort of a more pedestrian script. It's, you know, there's some emotional things that do happen along the way, but a lot of things in this movie are really obvious, things that we've seen before. But that being said, let's talk about some of the good things about this movie, other than, you know, Kevin Hart really, you know, giving a pretty good performance in this sort of dual dramatic and comedic role, because he is definitely still, you know, working off his chops a little bit, and he plays very well off Lil Rel Howery, but in the dramatic moments, he is believable. And I like that. But I think what this movie has going for it that sort of does keep it afloat is that this is a topic that I don't think we often see. And look, we've seen movies about single dads raising kids. In fact, the late '80s, it was sort of a trope. You had Three Men and a Baby. You had Full House, the TV show. But okay, fine. So we've kind of seen that before. But something that I think gets swept under the rug a lot is being a single father, especially a first-time single father raising, a baby from birth, and something that we certainly don't hear about in more lighthearted films. And I think this does have its moments of lightheartedness for sure. Is women do sometimes, it's horrible, but women do sometimes die in birth. And so there can be complications there, and they can pass on. And, we're left here with a single father now raising a baby. And that is something that I can't remember the last time we saw in a major motion picture like this. So I really liked that perspective, especially on Father's Day weekend. I think Netflix, made a slam dunk decision to hold off on releasing this until Father's Day, so we can really celebrate. Okay, there are dads come in all types here. And here we've got one just trying to survive. Now we do have a romantic aspect to this as well, which is sort of a foregone conclusion, I think, with a movie like this. But again, at first when the girl is a baby, he is not interested in, meeting girls, going out to clubs and bars and anything like that. Lil Rel tries to sort of give him a good night out, and he's like, I don't want any of this. I just want to be at home with my girl. So I think it was also a good choice for the filmmakers to sort of not have him have a romantic interest until Maddie was, old enough, 5, 6, 7, however old she is. I guess she's in like first grade or something, so maybe around 6 or 7. But I thought that was a great choice. And the scene in which he tells her about this girl he's been seeing, who, by the way, is played by DeWanda Wise. She was in the Netflix show She's Gotta Have It from the old Spike Lee movie. I didn't recognize her, though, because I did not watch that. So, but I thought she did a good job, too. But, that sort of back and forth of I want you to meet this girl, that I've been sort of seeing, and your daughter's like, I don't, I want it to be just you and me, Daddy. And I think they handled that stuff very well, too. And so, look, there's a lot of things about this movie that are sort of by the numbers, a bit telegraphed. But I do like a few things that they have taken with the ideas here. And the script, I think in somebody else's hands would have been kind of a different movie. I think Kevin Hart sort of does sink his teeth into this role. I'm not sure if it was written for him or just shopped around and it landed in his lap, but it does seem like the kind of thing that is kind of what he's looking to do right now. Because yes, there are the Jumanji, the really sort of broad comedic movies that he's still doing, but he's definitely trying to stretch his dramatic legs in some other directions. And I think if he continues like this with some of these more kind of softer spoken roles or what have you, more emotional roles, I think he could find some success there. So overall, I think this is just slightly positive because I do think it's got a lot of sort of, by the numbers type of things. But I think the good cast elevates it a bit. And I think some of the decisions made in the script, the less obvious ones anyway, I think are well done as well. So I'm going to leave Fatherhood with a B-. If they had released it at a different time other than Father's Day, maybe I would even give it a little bit of a lower grade. I don't know. But, thinking about my own father today, getting perhaps a little bit emotional myself, who knows? But for now, I will leave Fatherhood with a B-. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you back here next time. Bye.